heard the name Fiona Apple? You know, the girl who dropped an album with a title longer than your mom's grocery list? Gave zero you-know-what at award shows and once canceled a tour for her dog? Before Billie Eilish was crying black tear? Before Lana Del Rey was a sad girl singing in flower crowns? There was Fiona, the tortured songstress with lyrics that could pierce your soul like a steak knife through soft butter. She gave us masterpieces like Criminal, Paper Bag, and Fast as You Can. But Fiona Apple's real story is just as fierce, brilliant, and unforgettable as the songs that made her an icon. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Fiona was born on September 13th, 1977, in the chaotic beauty of New York City, into a family with showbiz in their blood. Her dad, Brandon Maggart, was an actor, and her mom, Diane McAfee, was a singer. With talent marinating in her DNA, it's no surprise she came out of the womb, ready for the spotlight. Little Fiona wasn't just vibing to jazz songs at an early age. She was classically trained and composing her own music.
When your friend is upset is you write a song for them. And so I wrote a song called Manuela.
By the time most kids were still figuring out how to tie their shoes. Now Fiona's childhood wasn't exactly filled with roses and sunflowers. At the young age of 12, Fiona was essayed outside her Harlem apartment. The trauma still affects her to this day, spiraling into a web of anxiety, panic attacks, and OCD.
This is a tough situation for me because I don't want to trivialize it, but I also don't want to make it something bigger than it is.
This pain, this rawness, would become the highlight of her entire career, but not in the way you'd think. She once admitted that it's such a effing old pain, and there's nothing poetic about it. That's the thing about Fiona. She doesn't romanticize her scars, she just lives with them. Now, Fiona's big break didn't come with a flashy talent show. Her demo tape made its way to Sony Music via a babysitter. That's right, while most babysitters steal snacks or zone out to cartoons, this one was out here launching musical careers. In 1996, at the age of 18, Fiona dropped title and album so intense and introspective, it made journaling in a dark room seem like a national sport.
That came from a couple different places. It started out as one thing and then it kind of like changed meanings over the course of time.
The lead single, Criminal, was all over MTV, showcasing a young Fiona in a controversial video that had parents clutching their pearls and teens pressing repeat. 2 years after releasing Criminal, she won a Grammy for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. And just like that, Fiona was the tortured genius du jour. But she wasn't here to play the media game. In 1997, at the MTV Video Music Awards, instead of thanking her manager and gushing over her fans, Fiona said, "This world is bullshit." A mic drop moment so iconic that it's still making waves in Tumblr posts and Reddit threads today. Next came her second album in 1999, with a title so long it could double as an article. When the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. Yes, there's more to it. The album was raw, vulnerable, and critically acclaimed. It even made the Guinness Book of World Records for longest album title.
Yes, my last album was 90 words.
Proving Fiona doesn't do anything small. Not even titles. Then came Extraordinary Machine in 2005, a roller coaster of an album. The original version, produced by John Bryan, was to be released in 2003, but was delayed, reportedly because Fiona wasn't happy with the production. The song eventually leaked to the public.
This version of the album had somehow leaked.
Yeah.
The John Bryan tracks had come out.
Yeah.
Rumors flew that her label, Epic Records, was suppressing her art, and fans took to protest by mailing apples to the label, like literal apples. The label could as well have started an apple juice company.
Started sending apples to the executives at Sony. I don't really even know the extent of what they did. They did a protest outside of Sony, I know that.
The album was eventually reproduced and released, and of course, critics ate it up like an organic, gluten-free snack. Fast forward to 2012, and Fiona gifted us the Idler Wheel. Don't ask for the full title, it's a paragraph. The sound was raw and weird, like she took a hammer to a piano and said, "Let's roll with it." It was nominated for Best Alternative Music Album, and suddenly, Fiona was back, proving she never really left. Then in 2020, she blessed us with Fetch the Bolt Cutters, a record born during quarantine that felt like therapy set to music. Critics lost their minds. Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, everyone called it a masterpiece. It won 2 Grammy Awards and proved that Fiona didn't come to play. She has also had her fair share of eyebrow-raising moments, but in true Fiona fashion, she handled them with unfiltered honesty. Let's start with the infamous 1997 VMAs. Fiona Apple's "This world is bullshit" speech might have ended some pop stars' careers, but for Fiona, it just made her even more iconic. The industry had no idea what to do with a woman who refused to smile and play nice. They were basically like, can we unplug her and plug her back in? Spoiler, you can't reboot a genius. I mean, a woman with opinions back in the 90s? Scandalous. But the controversies didn't stop there. Fiona was suspected of having an eating disorder. The media went wild with speculation. Headlines asked, is she anorexic? TV commentators would mention her frail figure with that weird, concerned, trolling tone. And fans couldn't help but wonder what was going on behind that distant stare and fragile stage presence. But Fiona wasn't here for the rumors. She shut down the anorexia rumors, explaining that it wasn't about an eating disorder, it was about depression and deep self-loathing. She wasn't starving herself to be thin. She was struggling just to exist. In 2012, Fiona canceled part of her tour because her beloved pit bull, Janet, was dying. While some fans were heartbroken, others were confused. Who cancels a major tour for a dog? And honestly, we stand. If that's not love and loyalty, what is? And we can't ignore her 2012 arrest in Texas for drug possession. She was caught with a little green marijuana and hashish. Instead of crying or denying it, she called out the jailers for inappropriate behavior and accused them of violating her privacy. Texas tried her, but Fiona clapped back. When it comes to her personal life, Fiona Apple is like a mystery novel, wrapped in a riddle wearing combat boots. But here's what we do know. She dated magician David Blaine in the late 90s. Even the queen of melancholy can fall for the card tricks. But it was her relationship with filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson who made headlines. The two were an artistic power couple. Their relationship was intense, passionate, and allegedly filled with turbulence. She later hinted that the relationship was toxic, involving a whole lot of codependency, arguments, and maybe a little substance-fueled chaos. That's Hollywood romance, baby. Fiona's family is equally gifted. Her father, Brandon Maggart, has a long career in acting. Her sister Amber performs cabaret under the name Maud Maggart, and her half-brother Garrett is also an actor. So yeah, talent runs thicker than a milkshake in this family. Despite her fame, Fiona keeps it low-key. She's a proud vegan, fiercely devoted to animal welfare, and even put her career on pause to be with her dog in its final days. She's also got tattoos, including one that reads FHW, short for Fiona Has Wings, a sweet nod to her childhood daydreams. And did we mention she's collaborated with Johnny Cash? That's not just cool, that's historic. As of 2025, she's sold over 15 million records worldwide, has 3 Grammy Awards, and has a net worth estimated at around $10 million. Not bad for a girl who once said, "I don't want to be famous, I just want to be heard." Fiona Apple isn't just a singer, she's a force of nature. She carved out a blueprint for every artsy, emotionally volatile teenager who believed that banging on a keyboard while side-eyeing society could actually be a career. Fiona made it cool to be furious, to fall apart in public, to point a finger at every broken system, and to do it without a single apology. She never played by the rules of the industry. Instead of cranking out albums like Candy, she'd disappear for years, let the world spin into chaos, and then return with music so raw and brilliant it made everyone else question why they even bothered showing up. Fiona didn't just make albums, she made statements. And in doing so, she built a legacy of honesty, unfiltered emotion, and absolute artistic freedom.